Hello everybody, my name is SolarX and welcome to my SlashCo perk tier list. Keep in mind these are all just my opinion. If your favorite perk doesn't get placed where you think it should, let me know in the comments. That being said, I'm trying to keep the intro short, so let's just get right into it. So, first up, for our starter perks, we have Adrenaline Rush. With Adrenaline Rush, you get a speed boost when the helicopter arrives. To clarify though, this is only when the helicopter touches down and not when it's still flying towards you. You also get slight healing when that happens. How much speed and healing do you actually get? Well, I don't know. The game just kind of gives you very vague descriptions of most perks and items, so if you're an avid Risk of Rain 2 player, this game will give you PTSD. Luckily for you, I actually have the exact number. The base player speed is 4 meters a second, and Adrenaline Rush increases this to 4.75, which translates to a roughly 18% increase in speed. Not bad. Now, where does this go on the tier list? In my opinion, it's a solid perk. Especially for newer players, I think this perk will benefit you the earlier in the game you are, so around levels 1 through 10, but I do think it loses its necessity with the more experience you have. At the start of your SlashCo journey, you don't know where all the heli spawns are, and you don't know how to avoid each slasher yet, but once you start to hit levels 15 through 20, I'd recommend taking other perks and giving this one up to free up some PP. So, I'm going to be placing Adrenaline Rush in the B tier. It's a solid choice, not bad. Next up, we have Batter Up, the perk which pretty much makes bringing Pocket Sand mandatory. And I'm going to be completely honest, I thought about putting this perk in A tier, but then I came to my senses. When you stun the slasher, you get a speed boost and a little credits and XP bonus. I think it's like 10 credits, not sure how much XP it gives you, but it does make batteries and fuel a little more difficult. The fuel you won't have any problems with, but the battery minigame will make you fail a couple times if you aren't really focused on it. Fact of the matter is, for 3 PP, I can't really justify taking this perk unless you really want to run Pocket Sand. And maybe you want to do some team play, or maybe you want to help out a new player. It has honestly gotten me out of some sticky situations, like this game on Farmyard, where I had to stun Speedrunner on the way to the heli. Without the speed boost from this perk, I probably would have died. If you're running this, I'd recommend pairing it with Adrenaline Rush. That way, if you do end up having to use your sand early, you at least have something to help you get to the heli. Next, Healthy. Now, Healthy is a starter perk with a pretty simple premise. All healing items heal 50% more, and it allows you to eat Costco pizza. And it's a C tier. It's meh. Enough said, it's meh. You barely find healing items in the first place, let alone Costco pizza, and if you're buying Costco pizza from the item shop, you either really like Costco pizza, or you like shooting yourself in the foot. Or both. Even with the recent update, which spawns more shop items on the map, it's just not worth bringing this over other perks. C tier. Now, Hyperperceptive. I mean, do I even have to say it? It's S tier. Everyone knows it's S tier. It vastly improves your spatial awareness in a game where spatial awareness is one of the most important things. It increases the volume and hearing range of footsteps slashers make. You hear them from noticeably farther away than people who don't have this perk. It helps you identify the slasher without you ever having to even see them, and it's only 1 PP. It's amazing. You should always take this perk no matter the build, and especially if you're a level 1, this should absolutely be the first perk you buy. S tier. Next up, we got what I believe is a fan favorite. Mainly because the item it synergizes with is also a fan favorite, we got McNally Hands. McNally Hands is a really nice and simple perk. It allows you to open more doors with Master Locks, which is only a 5 credit cost item. You gain credits and EXP when opening a locked door, and it's available at level 3. This perk is just satisfying. Opening doors and fighting gas or items inside the room you unlocked is satisfying. Is it S tier? Well, it's definitely A tier. I can see an argument for McNally Hands being S, but the fact is you don't really need McNally Hands. If you have a good team and your teammates are even a little competent at searching rooms, you don't need McNally Hands, but it's probably one of the best A tier perks on this list. If you think it's S tier, let me know. Next we got Mechanic. The first of many mechanic perks to be exact. Probably the most simple perk on this list. You feel faster. That's what Mechanic 1 does. You feel 50% faster, and you know, it's solid. It's not the best perk in the game. It's not the worst perk in the game. It just gets the job done faster. In a game that's literally all about fueling generators, it's practical. It might save you a couple times. It's fine. B tier. Not much to be said about it. After Mechanic, we got Accountant. And as you probably figured by now, these perks are in no particular order. If you want to see the order you actually unlock these perks in, I recommend you either go to the slash.mo website, or you just play SlashCo yourself and unlock them. Anyway, Accountant. Accountant does one simple thing, which allows you to hear documents. And you can hear them from a pretty good distance away. It pretty much makes the entire document search trivial if you even have one person running it, with the only downside being it adding a bit of audio clutter and making you feel like you're going psycho from hearing a document that might be a floor above or might be a floor below you. I think it's A tier. It's good to help you learn document locations, but once you've learned where to look and you've gained some experience, you can probably trade it out for a different perk. It also loses its value the more people that run Accountant in the same game. You only really need one person running it to guarantee you find all the docs. Any more than that, and it's a little overkill. Next up we got, and I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the worst perks in the game, Speed Addict. Speed Addict is F tier. You should probably never take this. When I first started playing the game, I was like, no slows? Ever? That sounds awesome. But keep in mind that doesn't include gas and batteries. It only includes slows from things like the Spider Nest, the Beast's Scream, and the newest slasher that was added to the game, spoiler warning, the Entity's Scream. That's about it. It's useful for about less than a fifth of the cast. Is it going to save you from certain death from these slashers? Maybe, but with the added drawback of making all effects that increase movement speed, aka the milk, jungle juice, alive hard, and even adrenaline rush, some of the best things in the game, deplete 25% faster. It's really not worth taking. F tier. And with a complete 180, we got Alive Hard, one of, if not the best perks in the game. Alive Hard allows you to survive one lethal hit as long as it's not after the helicopter starts its arrival. Anytime before you finish the last gen or pick up the last document, it will proc. Not only that, but it stuns the slasher and gives you a temporary speed boost to help you get away. It's your get out of jail free card. It's what really allows you to start surviving rounds when you're in the lower levels and you still don't have your gameplay completely optimized yet. If you don't see yourself as the best player, and you're really struggling to survive rounds, Alive Hard will save you. The real question is this perk too strong? Well, it's strong, that's for sure. If you aren't taking this perk every game, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, but, and this is a big but, a very good player doesn't need Alive Hard. Not to mention, this perk will cost you 3 PP, which is a pretty big investment in perk points. It should be a good perk. Higher cost should provide better utility. And I really hope it doesn't get nerfed, but it probably will, and I can definitely understand why it would be. Anyway, it's S tier. As soon as you hit level 15, take this perk. Following Alive Hard, we got another banger perk, Athlete. I like Athlete a lot. Athlete increases movement speed for the first 8 minutes of the round to 4.6 meters a second, which translates to a 15% increase in move speed. Very nice. With the downside that carrying heavy items affects your movement speed a bit more, making you slower to compensate. On its own, I think Athlete is a very balanced perk, 8 minutes isn't too long considering rounds can last up to 25, and it's really only going to help you get out of those early chases. The main problem with Athlete is that it does make certain slashers into a complete joke, with you being able to loop them around for a pretty long time, especially if you pair this with something like the Rhino Pill. It pretty much just lets your team run around to find fuel scot-free without ever having to worry about Billy Bob the Borgmeyer smacking them around SlashCo HQ. This perk is really good. I would say even S tier when you pair it with something like Extremely Buff, which turns you into a speedrun demon, letting you complete objectives very quickly. I feel like a straight up nerf would ruin the intended way to play with this perk, which is using it to complete objectives faster and get out of chases more reliably, but being able to loop the slasher for almost a third of the round is a problem. Regardless, it's a high A tier. You should definitely build around it for some fun gameplay, especially when you pair it with Extremely Buff. Next up, we got Balkan Warrior. You like Balkan Boost? Take Balkan Warrior. That's about all there is to it. Usually, without Balkan Warrior, you get completely crippled after using a Balkan Boost. You can't heal, you can't move fast, and your HP is set to 1. Awful, right? Well, Balkan Boost completely removes that debuff, with the only caveat being that you feel a little bit slower during the boost, which doesn't really matter since you already feel fast as fuck, baby. Balkan Warrior is good. Take it if you have the extra credits and you want to get that nice quick escape bonus. Is it the best A tier? I don't think so, but it is A. Okay, Close Encounters. Close Encounters is an interesting one. I used to think this perk was useless. It increases your movement speed the lower your health is, and I thought, why would you want to purposely put yourself at lower HP? Most slashers will outrun you at that point anyway. Oh, how wrong I was. This perk, when paired with Athlete, pretty much allows you to outrun almost the entire cast for the first 8 minutes of the game. You get about a 0.3 meters a second speed boost when critical, which puts you at just barely faster than the beast's top speed. And the beast is pretty fast. This perk is currently going in A tier, and this perk does exacerbate the problem that Athlete has, which is just being able to loop the slasher for a big portion of the round, so I'd expect changes to how it works in future updates. Alright, Exterminator Flashlight. This one is a bit tough. And it's tough because I want to put it higher. I want this perk to be good, but it's just kinda not. Exterminator Flashlight increases your flashlight range and makes your flashlight silent, but it narrows the beam by half. I think it works best with a stealth build. You can switch between using Shadowborne for rooms and using the flashlight to check longer hallways, but the fact is you're better off spending your points on something else. Let me tell you why. On 3 out of the 5 maps, you're not getting much more value than your normal flashlight. Facility Delta and SlashCo headquarters hallways just aren't long enough to really need more visibility. Farmyard, your night vision while outside is already decent enough to figure out where the slasher might be if you just pay attention. So that leaves high school and hospital, where the flashlight does shine when you're looking down those longer hallways to make sure you don't accidentally run into a face full of Elmer's shotgun. See what I did there? But the other downside being that it costs a whopping 3 perk points. That's a lot of PP just to extend a tool that already gets the job done. I can't justify putting this perk higher than a C, I'm gonna be honest. It's meh. Next on the list, we got Glutton. Glutton is a decent perk. It increases the duration of consumable items by 50%, but consumables heal 50% less. So your milks will last longer, your Begone Sodas, Red 40, and even your Grouch Behavior boosts. If you're taking a live hard, the downside doesn't really matter since everything only heals for 1 HP anyway. I don't really have much to say about this perk. I don't think it's amazing like you need to take it every single round, but overall it's fine. B tier. After Glutton, we got the other healthy perk, Healthy 2. And unlike its little brother, Healthy 1, Healthy 2 is actually pretty good. It costs 2 PP, and for 2 PP you get 50% more healing, along with the ability to regenerate health passively while under 50% HP. It pairs perfectly with Alive Hard, allowing you to go critical, then climb back up to Scathed, which allows you to take an extra hit against certain slashers. It also does something amazing, which allows you to survive and out-heal Man-Spider's poison. You can touch the nest freely, and you can survive if the spider decides to chomp on you. It's a good perk overall, not too strong, not too weak, A tier. Now we got Heavy. And as the helicopter pilot likes to say,
I love fat bitches!
Do we love the Heavy perk? It's a perk that raises your maximum HP from 15 to 20. I don't believe it raises your starting HP. I could be wrong. This perk on its own is meh. You can survive maybe an extra 3 hits from slashers that don't one-shot you if you eat a mayo with it. But the fact is, a lot of the cast does one-shot you. Pair this with Leadbelly, and now you've got a decent combo. Without Leadbelly though, this perk is at best a low B tier, and at its worst, you should probably never take it. C tier. Up next is Grouch Behavior, and honestly, Grouch Behavior is probably my favorite perk in the game at the moment. It does 2 things. First, you gain small health regen when you're hiding in a locker. The effect is okay. It's going to take you almost a full 2 minutes to go from critical to okay if you're running Alive Hard. The second thing Grouch Behavior does, the fun part, you get to drink that delicious gasoline. And for a temporary speed boost. The speed boost you get is so nice. And Drinking Fuel has a 4-minute cooldown, but every 4 minutes you basically have a get out of jail free card if the slasher happens to spot you. In practice, this ability is very nice to have, but it's not OP. If you're a good player, you're not running into the slasher that often anyway, and you might not always be carrying fuel, so some games you might not even need Grouch Behavior or be able to use it, but some games it can really save your life. It also has synergy with Red 40, pop a Red 40, drink some fuel, and you'll be speeding around the map for a full 2 minutes like you just drank a mini Balkan boost. Now, is it S tier? In my opinion, it's S tier. I'm a little biased, but if it's not S, it's definitely at least A. There aren't any downsides to this perk other than it costing the big 4 perk points. I'm gonna put it in a low S, but realistically, it's either A or S depending on how you build around it. Alright, this perk is an interesting one. Solid John. Why is your John solid? Anyway, Solid John is like Alive Hard where you basically get an extra life, but only if you manage to find a locker in time. If the slasher inspects the locker you are hiding in, it won't kill you, but only once. I think it works best in stealth builds, but honestly though, I just can't really see myself taking this perk over something like Alive Hard, or even Grouch Behavior to be honest. I tend to not use lockers much in the first place, which is probably something I should get better at in my own gameplay, but the perk isn't completely useless. You just need to pay more attention to where the lockers are when you have this perk, and the one benefit it does have over Alive Hard is that you're able to use it even during the escape phase. Overall, not a bad perk, but for 4 PP, I can only justify putting it in B tier. Solid John is solid. Following Solid John is Lead Belly. Lead Belly is the tank build perk. You aren't building tanky if you aren't taking Lead Belly. Clean my belly. Wash my belly. It allows you to take twice as much damage but increases the sound of your footsteps by 50%. In this case, you might want to take Alive Hard, but honestly, I would forego Alive Hard and take something like Grouch Behavior instead to get you out of those sticky situations. Also to give you more HP to work with, and so things like the Mayo can actually give you a lot of health. With Mayo, Lead Belly, and Heavy, you can survive up to 11 hits from a bombing gnat before keeling over. However, this perk immediately loses its value against any slasher that one-shots you, along with the fact that just because you can tank more doesn't exactly mean you'll be able to get out of a chase. Overall, it's a fun perk, but going tanky isn't really too good of a way to play to begin with. It's going at the top of C tier. It's meh. Okay, we got a couple stealthy perks coming up. First is Lightfoot 1. Lightfoot 1, my beloved. This one's easy, I mean, come on, it's S tier. Lightfoot reduces footstep sounds by 50%, and against a lot of slashers, this basically makes you inaudible. Like, Elmer could be right outside your room, but because you have Lightfoot 1, he will not hear you. It's an awesome perk for newer and experienced players, and it only costs 2 PP. Who doesn't love that? Easy S tier. And after Lightfoot 1, we got Lightfoot 2, further reducing your footsteps another 50% for a total of 75% reduction in footstep sound if you have both equipped, along with making lockers silent. For stealth builds, these two are great, but, and this is a big but, I don't believe Lightfoot 2 is S tier. Let me explain. You can get away with not having Lightfoot 2. Keep in mind, it's a 3 PP investment. Most slashers already won't be able to hear you running around with Lightfoot 1, and there are a lot of other perks you could invest those points in. Is it good? Yes. Is it great even? Yes. Is it S tier? You let me know. I think it goes at the top of A tier easily, and that's my stance. Don't hate me on it. Alright, Mechanic 2 and Mechanic 3 are up next. The tried and true utility perks. Let's start with Mechanic 2. Mechanic 2 turns the battery skill check into a joke, for the lack of a better word. It makes batteries so easy you could probably close your eyes and still get it done first try. It also has the benefit of making it so they don't hurt you if you fail the skill check, so getting that nice unscathed bonus has never been easier. For 2 perk points, it's a solid choice. Is it the best choice? Nah. Eventually, if you really try, you'll get good at the battery minigame, but if you just aren't patient enough for it, then this perk is the perk for you. B tier. It's solid. Mechanic 3 though is a bit more difficult to rank. Mechanic 3 is a level 10 perk with both utility and stealth in a way. It makes it so putting the battery in early and fueling after that is completely silent, until you actually turn the gen on, of course. And if you fail a fuel skill check, which by level 10 you really shouldn't be failing, you don't make any noise. And I'm gonna be real, I just don't think I'll ever really be taking this perk. The thing is, if you put the battery in early but you aren't the one fueling, the generator will still fail start and make noise. So it's really only good to put the battery in before the last fuel, or if you're working with a coordinated team. The silent fuel also only works if you're the one fueling and you fail the fuel skill check, not your teammates, and most of the time it's going to be your teammates. Right now, this perk is a C tier for me. If the benefits of this perk applied to the whole team, then I would probably bump it up to a B or even an A tier honestly, but as it is now, it's meh. After Mechanic we got, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, the worst perk in the game. Merchant. Merchant does one thing. It increases the credits you get for bringing items to the helicopter, which is already abysmally low. I think you make about 12 credits from a Begone soda if you bring it to the heli, so taking Merchant would increase that to 20. Not to mention, most games you won't even have items to bring to the heli, plus surviving rounds and completing objectives already gives you a good amount of credits. You're always better off just taking something that will help you survive. If you had to choose between Lightfoot and Merchant, you would take Lightfoot every time. Unless you're insane. It's awful. Please never take Merchant. Devs, please buff Merchant or replace it entirely, to be honest. Next up, we got Rabbit Feet. F tier. Alright, Shadowborne. No, I'm just kidding. Fine. I'll talk about Rabbit Feet. For a whopping 3 PP, 3 of your precious PP, you get to disarm 1 bear trap. That's right, 1. This perk should be 0 PP. It should be free. Safe to say, never take this perk. Manti, please buff or just replace it. Hello everybody, SlashCo from the future here. It seems during the editing of this video, Mr. Manti did push an update to SlashCo which buffed rabbit's feet. Bear traps now emit a faint red glow around them, which does make them easier to see. Does this push the perk out of F tier though? Unfortunately, it does not. I would still recommend you take other perks. Alright, now Shadowborne. Shadowborne is awesome. It does one thing, but it's an amazing thing, which is increasing your night vision. It's basically night vision light, and that translates to being able to do a lot of things. First, it makes it harder for the slasher to spot you, especially if you take stealth camo. It makes clearing rooms easier, and it turns Misty's quest of not using your flashlight into the freest 350 XP you'll ever earn. It's going in the S tier, whether you like it or not. Enough said. Okay, we're down to our last 4 perks, starting out with our final stealth perk, Stealth Camo. Stealth Camo is what I've seen a very misunderstood perk, and in my opinion, a very underrated perk. Stealth Camo is awesome, but to really understand it, you have to understand how stealth mechanics actually work in SlashCo. So, you can pause and take a look at this chart, but the easiest way to explain it is to just show you. Let's say you're hiding in a room from Baba Booey. If you stick one of these body parts out the doorway, let's say you peek your head out the door, Baba Booey will start creeping towards you. If you stick your head and hand out the door, he will enter chase with you. He has to see at least 2 of your colliders sticking out the door in order for him to start chase. Simple, right? Well, Stealth Camo allows you to do that even if Mr. Baba Booey is like 5 feet away from you. He'll treat it as if you aren't even there, which looks something like this. He only starts chasing once he's fully around the corner. It's crazy that he didn't see me here. Pretty cool, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it also feels like slashers have to be a lot closer in order to detect you. Not only that, but they also lose aggro a lot easier, especially if you're in a group of people. You won't be the first person they target a lot of the time. This perk could easily be S tier, but Stealth Camo has one major flaw. Can you guess what that is? Look at it this way. Stealth Camo is a perk which requires you to have control over individual body parts. See where I'm going with this? Basically, it's worse in desktop mode. Fact of the matter is, Stealth Camo works best when you have full body tracking. Here's me peeking around a corner with FBT. Now here's me peeking around a corner in desktop mode. See the difference? In half body, it's still pretty decent, but you aren't getting the full potential if you aren't full body. You can't really complain though, since the game is called SlashCo VR, so it makes sense if mechanics are designed with a VR first philosophy. So with that said, if you're in full body, Stealth Camo gets an S tier. In half body, I'd give it an A tier, and in desktop mode, I'd give it a B tier at best. Overall, I'm going to be putting this perk at the top of A tier. It's good regardless. That was a long segment. Down to our last 3, with the next one being Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter makes any item related to your informal assignments, aka side quests, glow. And they glow pretty brightly, from a mile away it seems like. This is going to make stuff like fighting Sid's Bullet a breeze, getting that sweet Mountain Dew for Mel super easy, and fighting the 8 pages an actually doable quest. But that's all it's good for. Is it going to help you survive rounds? No. In my opinion, you don't even really need Bounty Hunter for most of the fetch quests anyway, since things like Mel's Glasses, the Inventory Manifest, and Mountain Dew are all pretty easy to find once you know the locations. I've only ever felt like I needed it for the 8 pages and the bullet. I'm level 43 and I've never even gotten the John's Tapes quest, so you might need it for that too, but overall, it's C tier. It's meh. Only take it if you have to find the 8 pages or says bullet. With the bullet quest though, you're better off just throwing a coffee at Mel and re-rolling for a better quest. Okay, for our final 2, we got Extremely Buff, or the Z's perk. It's fucking Z's, man! Extremely Buff does one simple thing with one simple drawback. Batteries and fuel no longer weigh you down, however, you take double damage. For 4 PP, this perk is good. It's satisfying. You can help carry items for your teammates, you can get out of chases easier, and the games go by a lot quicker because you're moving around the map a lot faster. The double damage isn't too bad as long as you're staying aware. You really have to watch out for those ranged slashers like Sid or Big Bird, but other than that, it feels great. I take it almost every game if I'm not building stealthy, S tier. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, for our last perk we got, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember the name for this perk despite loving it. It's Uncle Sink. This perk lets you eat glass bottles for 1 HP a bottle. This perk is a personal favorite, and let me tell you why. It's only 1 PP, and glass bottles are a guaranteed spawn. There are 4 bottles total guaranteed to spawn on any given map, which immediately gives you guaranteed healing as long as you find them. If you take a life hard, all healing items do 1 healing anyway. A lot of the time this will translate to you being able to take an extra hit from some slashers if you find at least 2 bottles. I also think eating bottles is just fun, but even though I'm a little biased, I have to admit it's just not as good as Hyperperceptive, or even Adrenaline Rush for that matter. At best, it's like a very low B, maybe a high C tier. I'm just going to concede and put it at the top of C, because honestly, if you already have Hyperperceptive and you have 1 extra perk point to spend, you're better off just taking Mechanic 1 or 80 Rush. So, with that, our tier list is complete. At the end, we've got a pretty decent spread of perks here, a pretty nice selection to choose from. You really can't go wrong with anything from the B tier and above, and some of the C tier options really aren't that bad. In the end, I think I'm pretty satisfied with this list. Let me know what you guys think. What should be changed? What shouldn't be changed? Is Rabbit's Feet actually S tier? Please leave a comment and share this video with your friends. There might be more SlashCo stuff on the way if this does well, but other than that, thank you all so much for sticking through the video. I will see you all around.